Good morning.
Thank you, Mr.
You're live.
Let's see. Good morning, everyone, and to the members of the Governance Committee and staff. I want to thank you all for joining today's meeting. I want to call this meeting to order at 11:01. As far as our chair announcements, next week we're looking to have our first reading of our proposed budget for the fiscal year 2022. I would like to commend staff and Ms. Williams, as well as Director Holleran, for the hard work they put in during our budgeting process. I just want to say we appreciate your work, and I thank you. Ms. Ragland, are there any presentation or updates at this time that you would like to share?
No, sir, we don't have any presentations today, but I would like to, before you begin your the regular agenda, I would like to ask that the electric bus purchase change order be removed from the consent agenda. Dr. Robinson did make that request last week and during committee meetings, and it was inadvertently placed on the consent agenda rather than to be placed as an action item.
Thank you. All right. We have 6, possibly 7 items before us on today's staff is requesting our board to consider for action on next week's board meeting. With that, I'll turn the floor over to Ms. Ragland and her team so she can highlight any additional information related to these items. Ms. Ragland.
Yes, sir. As noted, the other items that went through the committee last week, the first 5 items were approved to be moved to consent agenda, with the exception of the electric bus purchase change order. And as noted, that Director Robinson asked that that be removed from consent agenda, and I believe there was to be some discussion. So she asked that it be removed from the consent agenda.
Hey, Val, I have one quick question too. I think we should move the governance calendar also. I know the dates are still going to be good, but I think we're considering some time changes on the meetings.
All right, sir.
I know we had talked about doing the presentations in mass and then splitting off for committees going forward rather than having staff be stuck for 3 hours giving the same presentation over and over and over.
Yes, sir.
And I thought that stabilizing the times of the meetings would probably be a good idea if they all start at the same time going forward. But we can still vote on that next month. As long as we have our dates in that we're meeting, the times are changeable and we can have that done probably by next month.
Yes, sir. We want to keep the Tuesdays allotted for board business because
absolutely. For everyone. But it also gives us the ability to have other meetings on Tuesday, like ad hoc or others later in the day, like 1 or 2 o'clock, where there isn't somebody tied up in another CAT meeting.
Yes, sir.
Because we do have an ad hoc CEO committee and that's going to need to meet. So that may work going forward, at least for the next 6 months. But that's all I had. I think that one we could hold and possibly even discuss or wait for another presentation next month with some additional changes. Just a thought.
Yes, sir. Whatever the board decides, it's good with me.
Yeah, and I know we're changing the names of the committees a little bit and things like that. So it'd be a good fresh start for all of it if we want to do it. But yeah, the Tuesdays should be locked. We know the holidays are on certain days and we don't meet for the board until in November, December on the 3rd Thursday instead of the 4th. But it's all simple changes. As long as we keep our meetings to Tuesdays, we should be safe.
Yes, sir.
We don't conflict with anybody else.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I can't mute.
And as stated to Mr. Chairman, the security service contract was not ready to be presented last month. So we've added it for the for consideration for the May 25th meeting. And that's why it's added here, because it was not presented during the regular committee. But if you'll recall that I did ask during each committee meeting that it be allowed to be added to the agenda for this particular meeting, for the governance meeting.
All right. Yes. We add that. Have any more changes?
Are the minutes from the April board meeting, will those be present to be voted on?
In April?
Yeah.
Beverly, do we have that?
Yes,
Can
they
we-
will be present. They will be included on the consent agenda as well. Yes, sir.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Ragland, we have anything going forward?
No, sir, we can move on to your committee updates from May 13th.
All right. Next, we're moving to the committee updates. If any of the committee chairs would like to provide an update from last week's meetings, I'll turn the floor to you at this time. I want to start with Dr. Holleran, Strategic and Operational Planning.
I did not make the meeting. I don't think I saw the minutes, and I didn't see anything that was discussed unless Tabitha or Helen had something.
Anything?
I see Tabitha, I don't see Helen. Tab, did you have anything? I think she's just smiling.
All right. We're gonna move on to performance monitoring. Director Leggett, you have anything? Yeah, Director Leggett. I don't see him. All right. Do we have Dr. Robinson or Director Adams? You have anything? All right, we're gonna move on to external stakeholders. Director Emerson.
Yeah, we had a really great meeting, actually. We had regular updates from staff, which were, comprehensive. And I do have some questions about some of the agenda items, but I'm not sure if we should discuss those here now or just wait till the board meeting. Coming up specifically on the change order for the electric buses. But we're trying something different in the stakeholder committee, and I think it's going to be really helpful and energize that committee, and the rest of the organization. So I'm going to be inviting 3 guests from the community to join myself and the other committee members of the stakeholders committee committee to sit in on the meeting and act as legitimate meeting participants. So they can ask questions, talk to staff, submit ideas, the whole gamut of anything that we would be able to do. Not necessarily vote on anything, but the whole gamut of what we're able to do in terms of engaging with staff. I wanted to be able to use the stakeholder committee as a tool to be able to engage, different community members. So this last meeting, we had Kayla Brown from Bike Walk Savannah, and we had, God, who else did we have? We had Jeb Bush from the Forsyth Farmers Market, and we had Armand. I can't remember Armand's last name, but Armand is a representative from Healthy Savannah. And as I think you all know, Healthy Savannah we're a partner with them on a fairly large grant that they received a couple years ago. So I thought it was nice to be able to bring 3 of them in. Those are all folks that are focused on, access to nutrition, access to Armand Turner. Thank you, Bren. Access to nutrition, access to mobility. Kayla is extremely vocal as an advocate for all modes of transportation, and somebody that I definitely spend a lot of time talking with about mobility and transportation here in Chatham County. And Armand from Healthy Savannah and what they're able to do. A lot of these folks have fingers in a whole bunch of different projects. It was kind of exciting to have them all here. I think they asked some great questions. We discussed about some of the interior bus advertisements for nonprofits. What I got from that is that we just had so many nonprofits wanting to use our interior bus cards that we had to figure out we had to step back and figure out a new way to make that a little bit more equitable as to who had space. I think that is a great problem to have. And I would definitely implore staff and this board to move forward on coming up with a policy for how do local organizations get into our CAT buses and reach the riders that we've got. And I think that's a great way to build relationships as well. Jeb Bush from the Forsyth Farmers Market specifically said that when they started to advertise on our buses about the SNAP program, where if you use SNAP dollars at the Forsyth Farmers Market, you actually double your SNAP dollars, which is really cool. And he said that they had a huge uptick in the use of that program, which I think is a direct result of the advertising they did on our bus. So we are able to reach a unique set of people. And I think being able to provide that access to different partners is a really cool idea, and definitely something I'd like to move forwards in thinking about. There was something about a grant that Jeb was talking about, and I connected them with Brent. And I just thought it was really cool to be able to really remove the barrier remove the barrier that happens so often between organizations, that are of a size like CAT and the rest of the community, and be able to just, have all these folks meet our staff, so they now know Brent, they now know Gloria, and they now know, all these folks that are working behind the scenes making stuff happen. So I'm excited to be inviting, for the next meeting, I'm going to invite 3 new people, and we'll just keep rotating through different community advocates and institution leaders, and et cetera, as we move forward.
Thank you, Director Emerson. I appreciate that, and we look forward to meeting them and getting their input on it. I got Director Holland.
Yeah, I have a quick question. It's probably for Andrew. These are open and public meetings. Don't we need to have a public comment section as part of the meeting instead of just inviting selected people to come? Shouldn't that be open to everybody?
I would want to take a look. I think that it is probably acceptable to, appoint specified members of the public to serve on that committee. But, it's certainly subject to the Open Meetings Act. They're not closed meetings in any, that they cannot be. Dr. O'Halloran, I want to make sure I understand your concern with that.
Well, we're inviting 3 people. Suppose there's 20 that would like to come and speak. Can they all come? That's, it could open up to that. I don't know.
If I may, I would encourage all the other chair people of these committees to add a public comment section to your agenda.
Well, we're supposed to have 2. We're supposed to have appointed 2 committees to deal with that, outside people, the transit and the stakeholder committees, which are supposed to be members of the public. And unfortunately, we've gotten away from that. We've never gotten back to it. It's been disbanded since I've been on the board, but it was approved years ago to have 15 or 20 people from the public on committees to meet monthly with staff and board members concerning, going back and forth. And also the public meetings that we hold once a month for mobility and regular transit. I just think if you start excluding people, then we're going to piss off the people we don't invite. but
Right.
that's just my opinion.
So if I could, I think it would be good for me to take a look and do a little bit of sort of
Yeah, it's
parliamentary
not,
procedure.
it's not, it's not due up until next month when we have committees, so that's fine. I don't think, but are they listening in on the presentations as well?
Sorry, did I miss anything? I got some stuff happening.
No,
here.
I don't. Director Edminster, I don't think you missed anything. I think first Dr. O'Halloran said that the issue, if it is an issue, isn't urgent because the next meetings are a ways off. But I think his concern is with sort of implicitly excluding those who are not specifically invited, members of the public. And I think I was about to say that if I could, I would like to do a little bit of research. It's a question that, I hadn't considered before, setting up members of the public as being members of a committee like you're proposing to do, Director Edminster. It's something I hadn't looked at before. So I just want to take a look.
Just so you don't get down the wrong rabbit hole, that's definitely not what I'm planning on doing.
So okay, maybe I'll talk to you offline then, and I may have misunderstood.
Yeah, they're basically just guests. I mean, anybody is welcome to, and I would hope, that we encourage further engagement for everyone. And the whole point is that I don't want to be on any more committees, just as much as I would expect anybody else doesn't want to be on any more committees. We're already way committed, way out there. So the idea was not to burden anybody with like a committee position, but to invite them to be a part of the conversation on that specific meeting.
Understood.
So for the next meeting, I'm not going to be inviting Kayla. If Kayla wants to come and talk, that'd be great.
Understood.
But I won't be inviting Kayla and Armand and Jeb. We'll be inviting 3 new people. They definitely do not want to be adding committee members. That might come up later. That's definitely something I've been thinking about. And I'd like some advice on how to do that, but that won't be happening for at least a half a year or so.
Understood. That's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Director Emerson. And Andrew, do we have anything else?
I'm good.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. Moving on to old business.
Before we go there,
Chairman.
just one other thing, if Valerie and Beverly can get together on where we were with those committees, all I remember is there were 2 committees set up for the public to be on for a monthly or bi-monthly meeting to meet with staff and regular board members concerning those, I forgot what they were, transportation and
Transit Advisory Council and a business
stakeholder.
advisory.
Yeah, that would be a good idea to restart those. And that would eliminate, all the question marks about not being in contact with the public.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right, Beverly. Yes.
And I know it's in our SOP book somewhere. And I know we talked about it like before COVID, because after COVID, it wasn't going to work anyhow. But I think we should definitely get back to that and get as much public input. The 1 meeting a month or every other month on paratransit and fixed route is kind of limited into, and I don't know how the participation is in those meetings. I know paratransit was only a couple, and for a while we were very low on people coming in for those meetings. So, and the public has the right to be at the board meeting, and we see mostly staff. So, yeah, we could also do public presentation or public comments at each of the meetings if we wanted to. That would be a way around it. So I don't know. Like I said, we've been talking about reforming those 2 committees for 3 years and we still haven't. That's all I have. Just
thank
some
you.
ideas for going forward.
Yes, sir. And we will, as you say, we will begin looking at reinitiating those 2 committees. Initially, they were the transit advisory committees and the business advisory committees, where members of the business community were also invited to share and to comment, offer suggestions. So staff will take a look at re-engaging with those two committees, as well as our public meetings.
And it could be every other month, do one or the other. I mean, I don't think we're gonna have a massive amount of engagement. You know, looking at
Yes, sir.
board meetings, we noticed that there ain't many people coming. Even, you know, because they can request public comment at any board meeting. But we can, you know, there's a lot of changes we can do.
Yes, sir. Well noted.
Right, I see Director Leggett. We missed you the first time around. Did you want to add anything for performance monitoring?
No, sir. Dr. Robinson conducted the majority part of that meeting, and it's basically the same thing. It was nothing new.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on to old new business. Ms. Ragland, I turn the floor over to you so you can share the information regarding our employee group insurance under new business.
Yes, sir. It's kind of old and new business because we've been waiting on the insurance quote to come in, and staff was presented last Thursday, the 13th of May, with an awesome presentation by Sterling Seacrest that we're actually going to decrease our premiums for the first time ever. And we're going to decrease it by 3%. So we were just overjoyed. It's gone down from the 2.823 to 2.739. So that's awesome for us, for CAT and for our employees. We see a decrease in premiums for the first time. And I think Anthem, or Blue Cross Blue Shield Anthem, has been in a relationship with CAT for about 50 years. And this is the first time we've seen a decrease. So we're really elated about that. But we are also inputting the final numbers into our system. And while we would love to be able to schedule a presentation for Sterling Seacrest to come to the board on next week, we don't know if it'll be quite possible for them to do so if we'll have all of our figures in the system yet. So we're hoping, if necessary, that the board would be amenable to scheduling a special call meeting if necessary. It may not be necessary, and we'll let you know, but if you might be open to a special call meeting to approve the insurance health benefits on the 27th of May, which would be the following Thursday after the board meeting.
Right. Have any questions or comments?
Just to be clear though, that's only the health insurance that went down. All the other ones have gone up.
Well, they were able to work with oh gosh, the name escapes me right now, for dental.
There's like
and
7 of them. Yeah.
Yes, but we were not able to stay with Blue Cross Blue Shield for dental and vision, but we went back to a former provider, and for the life of me, I can't think of the name, but we were actually given a steady rate for the next 2 years. So the premium
Right, came in, it's MetLife.
MetLife.
That's what it was. MetLife.
Thanks,
yes,
Brent.
thank you. Thank you. It was so we'll remain steady with MetLife for 2 years. So we won't see an increase. So we're really grateful for that. And MetLife was a previous provider, so
And dental's pretty stable.
Yes. So I just ask the board for your consideration. If we are not able to present at the board meeting on the 25th, if you would consider a special call meeting for the 27th, which would give staff time to provide open enrollment for employees after approval of the board, and before is actually the coverage begins on July 1st. HR would like to have open enrollment and just discuss the new benefits, the new coverage with employees before it's initiated on the 1st of July.
Maybe we can do that on the committee meetings in June. rather than keep adding more dates for other board meetings. They can do the presentation and then we can vote on it in June. It's pretty much, I don't know. I
But
know
then
I already have a budget meeting that day.
But we can't move forward until the board approves it. If you did it in June, it wouldn't give them time to hold open enrollment before
All
July
right, yeah.
1st.
We need to add to next board meeting's agenda.
Yes, sir. We're hoping to have everything in the system and ready for the May 25th meeting.
All right.
But I just wanted to put that out there just in case. But we're doing everything that we can to be prepared for the May 25th meeting.
Thank you.
And that's all I have, sir.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Ragland.
Yes, sir.
All right, we have our next meeting listed below is scheduled for May 25th and June 8th. This will adjourn our meeting for the day. Until we meet again, I want everyone to take care.
Thank you.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank
Take care,
you.
everyone.
All right.